Before we begin, if you enjoy real stories about corporate power, hard-earned experience, and quiet revenge, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Because stories like this, they happen more often than people admit. Now let me tell you mine. And my name is Chris Hayes. I'm 48 years old, and until very recently, I believed I understood how this world worked. I've spent 25 years at Apex Aerospace. That's more than half my life. Long enough to see executives come and go. Long enough to watch entire departments rise and disappear. And long enough to know when something is wrong. I knew something was wrong the moment I walked into the lobby that morning. Jennifer wouldn't look at me. Jennifer from reception, the same Jennifer who had greeted me every single weekday morning for 8 years. Same smile, same coffee joke, same routine. That morning, she was suddenly very interested in her computer screen, like it held the secrets of the universe. She didn't say good morning, didn't smile, didn't even nod. And right there, something inside me tightened. You don't survive 6 years in the Navy without learning how to read people. I served as an operations officer on destroyers in the Pacific Fleet. Long nights, rough seas, decisions that actually mattered. The Navy teaches you 3 things very quickly: how to plan ahead, how to read a room, and how to recognize trouble before it recognizes you. That instinct was screaming now. The halls felt different, quieter, like everyone was holding their breath. I'd barely reached my office when my email chimed. Urgent meeting, conference room B, mid-morning.no agenda. No explanation, just a summons. In corporate language, that's never good news. In military terms, that's what we used to call an all-hands moment. The kind where someone's life is about to be rearranged. I didn't rush. Old habit. You never rush into an unknown situation without reconnaissance. As I walked the long way down the hallway, I noticed something else. People were avoiding me. Martinez from quality control literally ducked into a supply closet when he saw me coming. Rodriguez from shipping, a man I had personally helped promote twice, stared at the floor tiles like he was counting them. That's when I understood. This wasn't about performance. It was about age and salary. 3 weeks earlier, I had closed the biggest deal of my career. A massive aerospace contract with Boeing. The kind of contract that changes a company's future. It wasn't luck. It wasn't timing. It was 3 years of relationship building. 8 months of brutal negotiations, endless flights, endless meetings that smelled like burnt coffee and desperation. Boeing doesn't gamble with parts. One failure at altitude doesn't just cost money, costs lives. They audited everything. Every bolt, every test, every backup system. And because I'd lived that world in the Navy, I spoke their language. That contract locked in steady growth. 10 straight quarters. Something Apex had never seen before. It also meant my bonus was finally vesting the next day. A bonus that represented 25 years of experience, of sacrifices, of knowing regulations most people never bother to read. Walking those halls that morning, I felt like a condemned man. And then there was Rebecca Kane, our CEO. 3 years in the job, and very focused on modernizing the workforce. Her son Andy, fresh MBA, barely past 30, already a vice president. He'd been scheduling meetings with my team without me, talking about fresh perspectives. People who had never stepped foot on a factory floor, never dealt with inspectors, never had to explain grounded aircraft to furious clients. I'd seen this before. In the Navy, we called them ticket punchers. They show up, change things that work, create chaos, then move on, leaving someone else to clean it up. Andy Kane was exactly that. I stopped by my office, opened the locked drawer, pulled out my contract. Most people never read theirs. That's a mistake. I flipped straight to the clause I'd written myself. Buried deep, legal language thick enough to discourage curiosity. Simple meaning though. If they fired me without cause, right before my bonus vested, they would owe me double, plus damages. I folded the contract carefully, slid it into my briefcase. Then I headed to conference room B. The blinds were drawn. Inside, Rebecca, HR, and a lawyer I didn't recognize. No laptops, no performance reviews, just papers, termination papers. Rebecca tried to smile. Chris, thanks for coming on such short notice. I met her eyes calmly. Of course, I said. Always have time for the team. No one smiled back. And in that moment, I knew exactly how this was going to end. I took a slow breath and sat down. Conference room B felt colder than usual. Not temperature-wise, emotionally. Rebecca sat at the head of the table, hands folded, trying very hard to look compassionate. Nicole from HR kept adjusting the folder in front of her. The lawyer avoided eye contact altogether. That told me everything. When people can't look at you, it's because they know they're doing something wrong. Chris, Rebecca began, clearing her throat, we're restructuring the operations division. I nodded slowly, didn't interrupt, let her talk. Unfortunately, she continued, your position is being eliminated effective immediately. There it was. Clean, cold, delivered like a script. I'd heard similar words before, just never directed at me. I see, I said calmly. Nicole slid a stack of papers across the table. Termination documents. Already prepared, I didn't touch them yet. What's the timeline for this restructuring? I asked. Rebecca blinked. The timeline? Yes, I said. When was this approved? How many other roles are being eliminated? And what's the documented business justification? Silence. The lawyer shifted in his chair. Mr. Hayes, he said carefully, these are internal operational decisions. Actually, I replied evenly, they're not. Not with my clearance level and client responsibilities. That made them uncomfortable. You're aware, I continued, that personnel changes involving classified contracts require notification protocols. That part was true. I wasn't sure they knew it. Rebecca glanced at Nicole. Nicole glanced at the lawyer, and no one answered. We've consulted with the appropriate parties, Nicole said quickly. Her voice cracked just slightly. Great, I said. Then I assume you have documentation of that consultation. More silence. The lawyer started writing notes. Rebecca tried to regain control. Chris, this isn't about your performance. Your work has been exemplary. I looked directly at her. So this is without cause? She nodded. Absolutely. No reflection on you whatsoever. Perfect. They had just said the quiet part out loud. Nicole pushed the papers closer. We'll need your badge and access cards. I finally picked up the documents. Standard language. No cause listed. No justification. No board approval referenced. Exactly what I expected. I signed. Handed over my badge. Rebecca visibly relaxed. And Chris, she added, we truly appreciate your years of service. I smiled. Business decisions usually don't feel personal, I said quietly, until someone forgets to read the fine print. That made the lawyer look up. I stood, walked out, and for the first time in months, I felt calm. because what they didn't understand was that they had just triggered the one scenario I'd prepared for. They thought they were saving money. In reality, they had just activated a very expensive clause. Instead of heading to the parking garage, I went upstairs. To legal. Patricia Williams was still in her office, stacks of compliance paperwork around her. She looked surprised when she saw me. "Chris," her voice lowered. "I heard something happened. I need you to look at something." I said. I opened my briefcase, laid the contract on her desk, opened to the section she needed to see. "They terminated me," I said, "effective immediately. No cause." She read it once, then again. Slower. Her face changed. Concern, then realization, then something close to disbelief. "Chris," she said carefully, "this clause, if terminated within 48 hours of bonus vesting without cause," I finished, "double payment. Plus dommage." She leaned back. "They owe you millions." "Yes," I said, "and that's before we even talk about clearance violations." She closed her eyes for a moment. "They didn't notify Boeing," she said quietly, "and Boeing requires leadership continuity." That part surprised me. "If Boeing finds out," she continued, "they could cancel the contract." I nodded slowly. "Then I suggest we move carefully," I said, quietly, "for now." She reached for her phone. "I'll contact outside counsel," she said. "They need to see this immediately." I left the office feeling lighter than I had in a long time. But before I got in my car, I sent one text to Rodriguez, just a simple message, letting him know I might be available. His reply came back fast. "Half the industry's been waiting for this." I smiled. That afternoon, my phone started ringing. Legal. HR. Rebecca. I didn't answer. BY evening. There were emails marked urgent. One message from Rebecca stood out. "Can we discuss the transition tomorrow?" I replied with one line. "Please refer to my contract." The next morning, the panic started. Calls, emails, outside lawyers. They had finally realized what they'd done. And this time, there was no undoing it. To BY the next morning, everything had changed. I woke up to missed calls. A lot of them. Voicemails stacked on top of each other like panic notes. Legal, HR, outside counsel. And finally, Rebecca. I didn't listen to any of them right away. I made coffee, sat by the window, watched the sun come up. Because when you've spent years being overlooked, there's something strangely peaceful about watching people finally realize they miscalculated. I checked my email. There it was. A message from Morrison and Associates, outside counsel. They wanted an immediate meeting. That told me everything I needed to know. When companies bring in outside lawyers, it's because internal control has already failed. Before heading downtown, I met Rodriguez. A small diner near the base. The kind of place where retired military guys still drink bad coffee and tell good stories. Rodriguez slid into the booth across from me. "You picked a hell of a week to become unemployed," he said. I smiled slightly. "Seems like the timing worked out." He leaned in. "Lockheed's looking. Defense side. Leadership role." I didn't react. He continued. "3 other firms called me yesterday. Word's already out." "What word?" I asked. He grinned. "That Apex just fired the wrong guy." That part hit deeper than I expected. In this industry, reputation travels faster than press releases. By the time I reached Morrison and Associates, the conference room was packed. Rebecca, Andy Kane, Nicole, Patricia, and 3 lawyers who all looked like they hadn't slept. Rebecca tried to speak first. Chris, thank you for coming. I sat down calmly. We've reviewed your contract, she continued, and we believe there may be room for discussion. There isn't, I said gently. The room went quiet. You terminated me without cause within the protected window, I continued. The language is very clear. One of the lawyers leaned forward. Surely we can arrive at a reasonable settlement. The settlement is already defined, I replied. Double the bonus.
Plus dommage.
Andy finally spoke. This is insane, he snapped. We can't pay millions over a technicality. I turned toward him slowly. In the Navy, I said calmly, we had a saying. He rolled his eyes. Loud and wrong is still wrong. Silence. You were in the room, I added, when that clause was explained. You laughed. Andy stared at the table. Patricia opened her folder. There's more, she said. The termination also violated internal policies regarding government clearances. Rebecca's face drained of color. And Boeing? One lawyer asked quietly. Patricia nodded. They were not notified of the personnel change. That violates the supplier agreement. That was the moment. You could feel it. The air shifted. This wasn't just about money anymore. Rebecca finally asked the question she'd been avoiding. What would it take to resolve this quietly? I didn't raise my voice. Honor the contract, I said, and we all move on. And if we don't? She asked. I met her eyes. Then it goes to the board, and likely beyond. Nobody spoke. They asked for time. I gave them 48 hours. Same courtesy they gave me. 2 weeks later, the money arrived. No apology. No explanation. Just a wire transfer. Final settlement. Exactly what the contract required. I felt no excitement. Just relief. Because it wasn't about winning. It was about being prepared. And while Apex was scrambling to contain damage, my phone kept ringing. Offers. Real ones. People who understood experience wasn't a liability. By the end of the month, I had already moved on. But Apex, they were just beginning to feel the consequences. The wire transfer arrived quietly. No call. No apology. No explanation. Just the money sitting there, like a confession. Final settlement. Exactly what the contract required. I stared at the screen for a long moment. Not because of the amount, but because of what it represented. 25 years of experience had just been validated in the only language corporate leadership truly understands. Cost. I didn't celebrate. I closed my laptop, finished my coffee, and went for a walk, because the real story wasn't over yet. Silence doesn't stop industry gossip. Within days, the whispers started spreading. Not legal details, just the facts. Apex had fired their most experienced operations executive right after landing their biggest contract ever in aerospace. That kind of decision doesn't go unnoticed. People start asking questions about leadership, about judgment, about stability. Andy Kane disappeared first. Quiet reassignment. A new title. No direct reports. The kind of move designed to hide a mistake without admitting one. Nicole left not long after. Rebecca stayed, but not unchanged. The board stepped in. Operational authority stripped quietly. An interim executive brought in to clean up the mess. Meanwhile, my life moved forward. I accepted a role with Vanguard Defense Systems. Better salary, better equity, and leadership that understood something critical. In aerospace, there are no shortcuts. Experience isn't optional. My first assignment was bidding on a major defense contract. The kind of work I'd done for decades. Only now, I was doing it for people who listened. 6 months later, I ran into Martinez at a conference. He shook his head. "You wouldn't believe the chaos over there," he said. "They lost Boeing. Non-compliant bid. No counteroffer. Just gone." That one hurt more than I expected. Not out of satisfaction, but because I'd built that relationship piece by piece. Watching it collapse due to arrogance felt like watching someone burn down a house they didn't understand. Government audits followed. Clearance violations. Personnel instability. Contracts placed under review. A year later, Apex was acquired. Not as a victory. As a salvage operation. Rebecca retired comfortably. Andy moved on to something new and disruptive. And Apex stopped being a company people trusted. Looking back, none of it had to happen. They could have waited, handled it professionally, saved face, saved relationships. Instead, they assumed experience meant weakness. They assumed loyalty meant compliance. They were wrong. The real lesson isn't about revenge. It's about preparation. Read your contracts. Document everything. Protect yourself. Because companies talk about values until values get expensive. And when that happens, only one thing protects you: experience and the wisdom to use it.